So time for the quietest racers in motorsport. The MightE Bambinos will come out onto the circuit once again then. Been a fabulous battle so far. The drivers have given us plenty of entertainment in the first couple of weekends. And now we're going to see them again. Ansel in pole position in front of Freddie Baker. Then Albert Bachler and Sidney Nell from Albert Farrow and Max Joy, who will take up their positions on the third row of the grid. Then JJ Williams in front of Arthur Bath. And then Hugo Williams, Hadley Jarvis, and he didn't start yesterday, hopefully he will today, Harley Bradbury Stretton. So the competitors getting themselves ready, and obviously it is a standing start on the grid for the MightE Bambinos. So the competitors will come through and they will line up into their positions. Ansel in pole position, the number 96 car. So the drivers will now put themselves into their positions to get ready for an exciting tussle around the circuit. Ansel picked up the win in yesterday's heat. So we'll have to see how it all progresses as the drivers continue on their way. And now the final few drivers just getting themselves into their positions. And once we've got them there into position, we will be able to get started with racing once again here at GyG. Great to have your company. So an absolutely fantastic battle for the competitors. The drivers getting themselves into position and they will watch for the lights to go. 5-second board goes up, they watch for the lights. When they go out, we'll be racing, and away we go. So a good run from the start then as the drivers knit their way through the first corner. A very tricky situation for them as they make their way through the first couple of corners on the lap. A very sensible start, I have to say, from the drivers. They were very leisurely in their run through, but this is all about dexterity and this is all about calm composure in the MightE Bambinos. They're obviously regulated in terms of their wattage output, which helps the youngsters who are as young as 4 years old go racing here at GyG. It is in a very controlled environment. They obviously have to do a few test sessions before they're eligible enough for race trim. And there are a few rookies out there, the likes of Farrow, Bath, Williams, Jarvis, Bradbury Stretton and Williams. So a lot of new faces. But Ansel in front of Baker. Oh, sorry, that's Nell. That's Nell in second place, isn't it? So Sidney Nell has managed to get himself into second position there in front of Freddie Baker. So some good battles already. And Freddie Baker was particularly quick yesterday round the outside of Sidney Nell, trying to get himself up at a second position. Freddie Baker goes for it, and that's a nice... Oh, and he's lost the back end. I thought he had that all tidied up, but it's so easy to do. And Freddie Baker, unfortunately, the back end just tips around there. A very tricky situation. You could just see on the lock stops the back end of the kart was starting to come around. He had the move almost nailed. So let's have another look at it. As Freddie Baker was just trying to make his bid on the inside line of Sidney Nell. So easy to get that one crossed up. It wasn't easy, but let's have a look. So Nell's already squeezed into the inside apex. So Freddie Baker's got to commit to that inside line. He's just carried a little bit too much speed. And as he turns the wheel, the weight transfer, the back end steps out. A very easy mistake to make, and many of us have done it. So not a big issue for Freddie Baker. He has recovered in 4th place, and he's going to be getting after Farrow, who is now in 3rd position. Albert Farrow doing a good job as he continues to make progress. There is the 33 of Joy, and he's going to lose out there to Bradbury Stretton and Bachler, I think. So they both managed to get through. So Max Joy still working hard. It's not easy to get these karts up to race speed when you're a 4-year-old, 5-year-old kid. You're still doing very well, considering this is their very first phase of racing at any level. A lot of drivers who are racing for the very first time will be in the Bambino Kart Club. It's a nice, friendly and exciting environment to race, and since the Respect in Racing scheme has come in the last fortnight, it's really good to see that how many people have taken that on board and are really starting to warm to each other around the courses. Now we're going to have an interesting tussle between these two drivers. This is obviously going to be a good battle between Bradbury Stretton and Bachler. So Bachler having now managed to get the move, Albert Bachler on Harley Bradbury Stretton. Harley has managed to continue on his way, and he is now in 6th position behind Bachler. So Bachler getting through at the part of the lap. So Ansel is still your race leader from Sidney Nell and Albert Farrow. Then Freddie Baker is in front of Albert Bachler and Harley Bradbury Stretton, although Pharaoh has lost his position now. So Pharaoh has lost out on the last lap to Freddie Baker. That's what I meant when I said it wasn't too big a problem for Freddie Baker, because he's got the raw one-lap pace to charge his way back into the top 3, and he's already gaining quite quickly on Sydney Nell. The gap between them is just over a second, and there's plenty of time to get himself back into position. That's the great thing about these MightE Bambinos. They really do have a lot of opportunity for the drivers to get used to driving. There goes the move from Pharaoh, who manages to lap Arthur Bath. So Arthur Bath is obviously doing his best to move his way further forward. But it takes time. You know, not everything all comes at once. So the overtaking move there for Albert Pharaoh. He is the leading novice in the field. And now this is Freddie Baker making his bid on Sydney Nell. Oh, what a comeback from Freddie Baker. That was beautifully timed. Just saw his opportunity there through the compression complex on the run to Devil's Elbow and said, I can catch him napping here. And he did. Good run from Freddie Baker. That puts him up into second position. A very solid maneuver there from Freddie. And that puts him up into P2 as he tries to make a bit of a comeback now. So Ansel, Baker, Nell, Pharaoh, Bachler and Bradbury Stretton. That's your top 6 at the moment. Then it is Max Joy ahead of Jensen James Williams, Hadley Jarvis, Hugo Williams and Arthur Bath, who is a lap down at the moment, but obviously still very early doors. We've all got to start somewhere. So good work from Albert Pharaoh to be in amongst the established drivers who are not rookies. But how much of an impact can Freddie Baker now make on Ansel? Because he's currently going over a second a lap quicker than the race leader. So Ansel was 8.6 seconds ahead of Freddie Baker the last time around. I'll be very interested to see what the gap is now as Ansel comes across the line. There's Freddie Baker coming through in the final bend. What's the gap now? Because I think it's less than 8.6. It is. It's 7.3. So Freddie Baker is going over a second a lap quicker than the race leader, Ansel. So I think we're going to see Freddie Baker really charge after Ansel in the closing stages of this heat. He's got time, 2.5 minutes, to make up that kind of deficit. There is Sydney Nell doing a very solid job running in third position, but in behind him, Albert Pharaoh is catching him. He's not done yet, and Albert Pharaoh could get a third position here in his first race of the day. That would be a great performance from Albert Pharaoh. Drops out of the spoon curve, down Damon Hill, and up towards this pair of left-handers. Still they continue, and they'll climb up the hill once again. Albert Pharaoh's really starting to threaten Sydney Nell's position. This is going full guns blazing for him, and Albert Pharaoh may just be able to snatch a podium out of this. Still got a long way to go, of course. We've still got 2 minutes on the clock. Just under 2 minutes now, actually. But there is an opportunity here as Sydney Nell drifts out a little wide. He's got to be careful because he's got traffic to deal with. Albert Pharaoh is going to try and make the bid for third place here. So Sydney Nell gets through. Albert Pharaoh doesn't have a lot of experience of lapping back markers. As a novice, he will be one of the drivers they're trying to avoid in the opening race or two of his career, but now he's really started to get the hang of things. So it's not likely you're going to see Albert Pharaoh lapped too many times in 2022. He's definitely making good work of the racetracks he's visiting. So Baker is now 11.8 in front of... Ansel is 11.8 in front of Baker. Baker must have had an off on that last lap because he's suddenly lost a lot of momentum and a lot of ground. I did think for a moment that Baker was going to be able to catch up to Ansel, but he did a 1:06 on that last lap compared to Ansel on a 1:1.7. So that's opened the gap up just a little bit more to make it even that more extra challenging for Freddie Baker. And with 45 seconds on the clock, it looks like he's going to run out of time to make that little bit of gain up. So the quietest form of racing in the world of karting continues on as there goes Freddie Baker through, and he has gained a little bit of time back. 10.8 seconds is now the gap. He's got to hope really that Ansel has a moment with the back markers, because that's really the only way that Freddie Baker is going to have another opportunity in this heat. But we know that he's definitely got the speed under his right foot to challenge for the final later, so it'll be interesting to see what Freddie Baker can do. Still racing up the hill. This is Albert Bachler, I think, having a go at Albert Pharaoh. So the three of them now in the hunt for third position. Nell, Pharaoh and Bachler. Was that Bachler getting through? I think he might have made the bid there to go for Pharaoh as we watch Sydney Nell up the inside. There goes Pharaoh. And Nell goes onto the grass and spins. So easy once the kart goes wide on the grass there. Very tricky to tell whether there was contact between the two of them. I'm not entirely sure there was. Last lap begins for Ansel. I wonder if we can get a look at it again. But to be honest, I'm not entirely sure there was any contact between the two drivers. I think it was just a decent move from Pharaoh, and Nell just got squeezed. Let's have a look. So up the inside. Yeah, there wasn't contact at all. No contact at all there on the replay. Sydney Nell just allowed there to be enough room on the inside, had to drift wide onto the grass. So an easy mistake to make. But Ansel is coming through to finish the job. Oh, a little bit of a recovery there from Sydney Nell. So Nell has lost a little bit more ground, and that's going to be Bradbury Stretton round the outside to pick up another position as Ansel will come through for the race victory this time by. So Ansel is going to come through and take the victory in momentous fashion. There is Ansel into the final turn. It's been very quiet for him out front, but that's the way he likes it. A good win for the number 96. So Ansel gets the job done. Second place it is going to be for Freddie Baker, who has made a great recovery after his earlier spin and has managed to come home in second place. So you can't say fairer than that after the job he's done, and he gained a lot of time in the last lap, so expect him to be challenging for the race victory later on in the final. Backler does manage to come through, though, in third position in front of Pharaoh, and then it is Bradbury Stretton who will be the last driver home on the lead lap. Sydney Nell slipping to sixth in the end after the spin. Max Joy in seventh, and then it will be Jensen James Williams in front of Hadley Jarvis, Hugo Williams, and Arthur Bath. There is Harley Bradbury Stretton coming through to take fifth place. Not a bad first race of the day for him. So great battles and great action from the MightE Bambinos. There's more Bambinos on the way from the C50s.